When did you fund your account and what has the profits look like?
Yeah, so I funded it the 13th of May, and right now it's the 27th of June. I put 70 into and I put 30 into right around $9,000 in just over a month and a half.
Yeah. And how, I mean, as a percentage, what is that? It's close to like 9%, is it?
Yeah, right around there.
Well, and then so that's net, of course, right?
That's,
So if we're looking at the gross amount, it's
yeah.
about 10.8, so almost 11% in a gross amount in that month and a half. How,
So yeah, pretty impressive. Like 9% net.
Alejandro, tell me a little bit about yourself. What's your professional background?
Yeah, so right now I'm in real estate technology. I work for a CRM that helps realtors keep in touch with their leads. That has, working there has resulted in our company getting acquired. So I got a windfall of a bonus from that transaction, which ultimately led to me being able to purchase this house with my fiance and also having a good chunk of change to invest and see what I can do with it.
Congratulations on that. That's exciting. Okay. So where did you guys move from?
We were in Oakland.
So you were in
Yeah.
Oakland and you moved a little bit outside of the major city area and
Yeah, correct.
got some fresh air, I would imagine.
Yeah, well, I mean, we love Oakland. We still do love Oakland. It just had become a bit tiring with just like the amount of crime and noise and all that kind of stuff. So we're still very much connected to Oakland via the train system that goes through here. We're
Is
not
it
far
the
from,
BART?
yeah, the BART. We're not far from the BART. So it just works out. It works out
Nice.
really well.
Love that. And so what was your motivation? I know you got a windfall and congratulations again, by the way. That's amazing. And most people aren't a part of, acquisitions and especially, to be able to benefit with a windfall like that. So congratulations for you.
Yeah, thank you.
And so what was your motivation for wanting to make passive income? How did that come about for you?
Yeah, so I have a mom who doesn't take care of herself. We'll just put it that way. My previous background, I was a personal trainer, and for my main motivation for choosing that profession was to learn about the body and movement and nutrition and health and wellness and help my family. My family has, like a lot of we're just genetically predisposed to a lot of like cancer and obesity and alcoholism and all that kind of stuff. And it just my brother and sister, my dad, my mom, like my cousins, my aunts and uncles, they're mostly falling into that genetic predisposition where like they're obese, they have, all kinds of health ailments. And um, I before I transitioned into this role, I had moved down to Southern California to help my mom like regain some of her health and lose some weight and get rid of some of the pain that she was experiencing in her life and we made a lot of great progress. When I moved away, that kind of just went out the window, right? So without having someone that's there that's holding her accountable and like really shepherding through that process, I just fear that she's going to get into a place where she's not going to be able to come back from it. So making sure that I'm in a position where I can, on one hand, or where I have options, basically, right? Either to hire someone that's like a skilled nurse that is able to, guide her through in a very handheld type of situation where she can reclaim her health, or plan B, or like the worst option would be to like have her live in an assisted living home with specialized care in that sense, and that's not cheap.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, I want to make sure that she's not that she's in a good position either way, like whichever route she goes, that she's taken care of. And also for me, been in the technology space for a little while, like I'm ready to transition out of technology and do something that I find more meaningful, which is actually being in real estate operations and helping these teams move up. So that's transition is going to be scary for me because I'm going to go into business essentially for myself. And so I want something that is able to that I can fall back on if God forbid I do fail, right? Like I want something that will be a safety net for me like that.
100%. And, thanks for sharing about your mom and your family history, those things. I can understand how near that is to you. And, you've kind of shaped your life around the things that you don't want to see, which is a part of what I've done as well, and so I can understand that you wanting to make sure that you're physically okay and mentally and financially okay in order to as well be able to help others, especially your mom. And I'm a firm believer in putting the mask on for yourself first, right? And like they say in the airplanes,
Mhm.
it's a hard concept, when you have such a big heart and you want to be able to help others, and it's just like the immediate thing is to save somebody else before yourself. But you've put yourself in a position to where not only with your career, but also again with your health, and the things that you choose to prioritize are very much so important to not only be an example, right? So that you're okay and everything, but also for you to have the strength and the energy to be able to help, in a way, again, financially as well as, kind of motivational wise. So good for you to put yourself in that position and then be, kind of putting your finances in a position to be able to help your mom as well. So
Right.
that makes total sense. So for you then, and just another note, I know how expensive assisted healthcare facilities can be. My dad lived in one in Ohio, and it was at that time, that was like 10 years ago, it was like $10,000 a month, but that was only for like 8 hours a day of care. He needed to be at 24 hours of care. He needed to have
Mhm.
constant monitoring, and that was going to be like $17,000. Again, that was 10 years ago. So I can only imagine, and that was in Ohio. I can only imagine in California, kind of the prices and how things look. So that makes total sense. So for you, your goal for passive income was to be able to help your family. And then I also know for you, you want to kind of angle towards retirement sooner than later.
Yeah, that's, ideal. But like I want to work because I know that I'm a capable person and I want to work. I just want to know why I'm working,
Ah,
right? And I want the pressure to be off. Because right now, like I'm doing something that I'm good at, that I enjoy doing. I don't love it, right? I'm not like
mm,
passionate about what I'm doing, and that's what I want, right? That's what I want to find. And I want the wiggle room to be able to choose different paths and perhaps fail, right? And still be okay, right?
yeah, that makes total sense. So what have you tried in terms of other forms of passive income, other ventures for investing? What have you tried in the past?
Yeah, the only things that I've been invested in are my 401k, my Roth IRA, just different retirement savings like that. And then once this windfall happened, I put it into a high yield savings account. But besides that, my life has been like exceptionally low risk. Like it's just that fear of loss. I'm like,
Yeah.
but like seeing you, what you said in your YouTube ads, and hearing your story and learning more about the product and understanding that like everything, it's incentivized for everyone. Like the model that you guys have is incentivized for everyone to do well and succeed. I'm like, now or never. Let's do it. Let's go. And I'm really glad I did.
Yeah, I'm excited for you on that. And how did you actually hear about us? Was there an ad? Was there a video that you saw? I think you mentioned a YouTube ad.
It was just a YouTube ad. Yeah.
What specifically piqued your interest about it? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was you talking about your family, and also that you had gotten burned in the past and you didn't want to you didn't want that to happen to you again or for anyone else. Also, leveraging AI. That's something that I've been very curious about, and I know that there's insane amounts of opportunity right now with the AI that's emerging.
Yeah.
And I knew that I wanted to place my bet, right, for lack of a better word, on AI, and
Yeah.
yeah, making sure that I'm leveraging that towards my success.
That makes total sense. And for you, like you saw the ad, you saw me with my family. You kind of saw, okay, we're leveraging AI, we're leveraging technology. It's a system that we've been able to create and have success with. And then you had your conversation with the representative. But how did you feel just before making the decision? Were you skeptical at all? Were you nervous? How did you feel?
Very nervous. Yeah, 40 grand is a lot of money. But given just the amounts that you guys promise, and which it's exceeded that promise, at least in the short time that I've been with you. I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. Like I'm currently, at the time I was earning like 4.7% annual.
Hmm.
And, just in the last 2 months, way more than that. Like, like it's way more than the annual return on the invested amount. So yeah, I did that in a month.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, yeah. You know, numbers don't lie, right?
They
But
don't
those
lie.
things those things are great, but you figured that out after you joined. So what was the thing that was like, all right, I think you mentioned the now or never kind of thing, but like you saw everything, you heard what we do. Now you have a firm understanding with, after having your demonstration call. And you had a decision to make. And like you said, it was, fairly expensive. What actually put you over the fence and made you actually decide to join?
I mean, it was a feeling, honestly. That's really what it boils down to, is a feeling of hope, a feeling of promise for the future that I wanted to, create for myself and my family. And the evidence was there with the testimonials. Of course, like, they shared the numbers, and they looked good. The amount of capital that I had to invest, it was, it's a considerable amount, but like if I were to lose it all, I'd be fine,
Yeah.
right? Because of the manner in which I acquired it. So I'm good, right? Like I'm good either way, but this makes it so that like I can dream into a realm that I hadn't been really considering before.
We have designed this whole thing to be with like-minded individuals, people that actually qualify for the opportunity that we have. And like you mentioned, the, license fee, the upfront fee is, it's relatively high for a lot of people, for most people, but we use that barrier because we want people that are in a position like yourself, to where when you do actually put capital in, that's risk capital, right? That's not capital that if tomorrow, something, God forbid, happened to it, you would be out on the street or missing your mortgage payment or can't pay for XYZ, right? We design this to be something to where an individual like yourself can take advantage of it, knowing that you're in the market. So that's really great to hear that, you've positioned yourself and your finances to be able to, do something like this. And so for you then, how was the setup with your onboarding specialist? Did you have David? Was it Aquila? Who was helping you?
It was Aquila.
Oh, nice. And how was that setup process with her?
I mean, for me, it was very easy. The only like hang up that I encountered was with my own bank, because I used a high yield savings account, and that's like where I kept my capital. And that bank, being an online bank, they don't do wire transfers except for home purchases. So I had to transfer the money into my actual like brick and mortar bank, and then those funds had to stay in there for X amount of time before they could do a wire. So
Yeah.
that's the only hang up that I encountered. There were no issues or hang ups on the ATN side. But yeah, again, I work in technology, so it's like,
Pretty simple.
yeah,
Yeah, understood. And how has ongoing communication with the support team been like? Has that been
excellent.
okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime I reach out to Aquila, anytime I reach out to Julio, like if Julio is like not responsive for like X amount of time, like we're talking like a matter of hours, then Aquila's like, hey, what's going on? Right? Like there's someone there to like
Yeah.
help me, right? With
That's what
whatever I need.
and that's what we wanted, right? We have a full team of support, managers to be able to, if Julio happens to miss a message for a couple of hours, somebody's right there to be able to just address whatever it is, and that's why we do it that way. So I'm glad that that's working well for you.
Yeah.
Um, and on your end, like, I know you haven't tried other types of automation programs like a lot of our other clients have, but I know you've been, hit with probably other ads, or you've looked into other opportunities maybe before ours, or what have you. But what do you feel like on your end from an opportunity and a network standpoint makes ATN different?
I don't have to do anything. I don't have to do anything. It just runs itself. I don't have to learn about trading. I don't have to learn about AI. I don't have to train anything. It's just done for me, which that's like true passive income. It's just doing the thing. Um, so that's what that's another selling point to your question earlier, like what made me pull the trigger. It's like you just fund the thing and it works.
Yeah, no, it can't be simpler than that. But do you mind actually pulling up your account and sharing your screen?
No, I don't mind. I mean, here we go.
Love it. Okay, so talk me through this. When did you fund your account and what has the profits look like?
Yeah, so I funded it the 13th of May, and right now it's the 27th of June. I put 70 into and I put 30 into right around $9,000 in just over a month and a half.
Yeah. And how, I mean, as a percentage, what is that? It's close to like 9%, is it?
It's around there. Gosh, yeah, right around there.
Well, and then so that's net, of course, right?
That's,
So if we're looking at the gross amount, it's
yeah.
about 10.8, so almost 11% in a gross amount in that month and a half. How
So yeah, pretty impressive. Like 9% net. It's like you said, like the numbers speak for themselves. Like I don't know of another way of achieving these types of gains. I just don't know about it. Besides like literally gambling, but that's you know what I mean? Like yeah, it's wonderful.
it's under promising and over delivering. I know that we look at 60% annual, right? And that's kind of the target that we have. And of course, that's, markedly better than the other options that are out there. So if we can get above that, then excellent. If we fall a little bit short, it's still, again, multiples better than
Yeah.
other things. And so where would you maybe rank ATN compared to IRAs and, high yield savings, just for what it is, as far as the percent, the allocation that you have? Where would you actually rank it compared to other vehicles?
I mean, it blows everything else out of the water. Even with, my IRA account, my Roth IRA rather, you see that thing go up and down. There's been months where, it's like maybe, I'll have like I'll be at like 9% for the entirety of my investment. And then it'll be like down to 5.3%. And then it's like that's just money that was lost. And that's okay. That's how it works, right? It's about time in the market.
Yeah.
But I've had that account for like 10 years. I've had this account for like 5 weeks,
Yeah.
and it's already doing these types of numbers. So yeah, it's just by a long shot, it's better than anything that I know of.
Yeah. And how passive has it actually been after the onboarding phase, after you went through what you did with the high yield savings account and getting into your bank and all that? How passive has it actually been for you?
I mean, like to give you an example, like once the accounts were funded, I have not done anything. I've not had to do anything. All I've done is just checked it. Like, for example, I was fortunate enough to take a trip, a vacation for 3 weeks. I didn't have to do anything. And here we go. Like I come back and I'm like, wow, that's good.
Yeah, that's that's pretty good.
Yeah, works for me.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
funny. I love that. And that's exactly what this whole thing is designed for. It's people that, they're already working or they're in retirement. They don't want to have to learn about trading. They don't want to have to learn and like stare at a screen all day and be worried about if they missed a signal or they missed something that detrimentally affected their account. It's for individuals that just want to be able to live their life on their terms. They've got, kids, or they've got, a spouse that they want to travel with, they want to do things. And like you just mentioned, you were fortunate enough to go on a trip and be gone for a significant amount of time. And then, hey, let me just see what my account's doing. And oh, look, it's up X percent. So that's exactly what we designed this for, and why we're so thankful to not only for ourselves personally, like me personally, to have access, but also for me to have had the permission to give access to individuals like yourself. So I'm happy you're seeing that. And for you, considering, I mean, of course, it's been 6 weeks or what have you, and there's still some time that needs to continue to see these results. But considering it continues in this way, how likely are you to actually recommend us?
Very likely. I've already talked to Julio about that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm excited to see, the new tiered plan that you guys have been rolling out, or that you just rolled out. I think it was a few days ago you brought that up. The thing with recommending it is that there's a high barrier of entry, right?
Yeah.
And that's just the way, that's what I've learned about money over the last 10 years is like the barrier of entry is there and it's there for a reason. However, if you're able to overcome that barrier of entry, it is worth it. Like I was fortunate enough to be able to drop that initial investment in there, but like you saw earlier, like I've already made 25% of it back almost
Yeah. Yeah.
in a couple short months. So it's worth it. It'll come. It's just you do have to understand that it's money that is at risk, and like my fiance is so risk averse. It's like it's kind of laughable, but when I'm showing her these numbers and she's like opening up to it a little bit,
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm hoping to get some of her, I, I'm hoping to get her onto the platform too, based on that tiered system, which is awesome. I'm so glad you guys are doing that because once I'm in, just sharing this with other people that like I know will be able to benefit from this. My brother, for example, like he's one of those people. He's risk averse, but he's also a numbers guy.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's going to have an issue. Yeah, overcoming that barrier. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I love it. And the reason why we did it, and it's funny because I'm having one of these kind of conversations. I'm just getting feedback from a current client. He was like, it'd be really great if you were somehow able to lower the barrier of entry for some people and get more people in because it's so great. And you want to be able to impact more people, don't you? Like, and it's like, well, yes, but, and so at that time, it was just like, we don't really know how we're going to do this. And then another client of ours introduced this tier idea to us. And it was like, this could work. And it was just like, okay, well, it's the reason why we have the barrier to where it is because we want people to only be using risk capital. We don't want people to be over leveraging and doing more than what they really should. So that's why it's a limit. It's designed in order to put, parameters and protections, if you will, for people to not overexpose themselves and not be doing more than what they can actually afford to do. So a great suggestion from one of our clients, a great idea to implement it from another one of our clients, and then now you as another one is just like, okay, this is actually something that could be really good. So yeah.
And it's just another testament to how it's incentivized for everyone. Like everyone wins.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's how I do business. That's how I operate in my life. I'm win-win-win scenarios all around. I figure out what the other person is wanting. And this is, I guess, my counseling background. It's figure out what the other person wants, right? And then you figure out, okay, if there's something that I want as well, let's figure out how I can squeeze that in also, right? And then so now everybody's happy and it's a cohesive, and mutually beneficial relationship. So I'm glad that you're taking advantage of it. I'm glad that you're seeing the results that you are. And, just because we're having this conversation does not mean these results stop. So we're really excited to be able to see this continue on for years to come. So for me, that's all that I have as far as the questions and anything. Did you have any questions or anything that you wanted to ask me?
Yeah, with regards to the tier system, because no doubt once a person invests into ATN, they're gonna see the gains, right? So my question is, once they pass, say they enter in tier 2, they pass the amount of capital into tier 3, are they going to be paying the tier 3 fee?
Yeah, it will be like at that point, there's a trigger that we have in our system that's like, oh, this person has moved up. And so we'll just send an invoice for the difference.
Got it. Okay, great. And once, of course, if the capital from that account, if the invoice is paid with the capital from that account and it moves back up, that's like, you guys have things in place for that, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Wonderful. That's all I really needed to know. The invoice, of course, would be paid lump sum all at once.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. And that's wonderful. Okay. Cool. That's really my only question. Oh, actually, I had another question. As far as withdrawing from the account, is there like a strategy for like taking advantage as much as possible with like the compounding gains that we're seeing and not like and like also getting a steady stream of
Yeah.
like it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, one thing to note is weekends. If you can choose to withdraw on a weekend, that's going to be better for the account overall and also for you as well as far as any fees that you would incur. Because when things are like actually in trades, when capital is actually in trades, that results in more like swap fees and penalties and this and that. So for the PAM and pooled capital period, but also for you as far as fees are concerned, it's better to do the weekend on as far as withdrawals. The other consideration is, I mean, there's no limitation so much, but some people will strategize to where, every 30 days they'll pull out whatever percentage. They'll pull out either just all the profit or they'll pull out a percentage of the profit, and then just keep things going. What I did when I first got started was pretty much every 30 days I would pull out profit every 30 days until I recovered my principal. And once I recover my principal, then everything else is infinite returns. And I'm just like, this is great. So that was my strategy at first. But there are some people that kind of do it that in reverse a little bit. It's like they will compound until it gets to a certain point that the number that they want to see on a monthly basis, then they start pulling out. So there's no right or wrong answer. It just depends on what dollar amount that you're looking to pull. Um,
Yeah.
it's going to
Well,
determine that.
all right. Beautiful. Well, thank you. You've answered all my questions. Great to meet you. Thank you so much for what you've built and, like inviting me into this. It's very exciting for me. It's my fiance is very excited too. I haven't really told my family. I'm kind of keeping this one close to the chest, but
Mhm.
I know that, when if and when the time comes, like they're going to be so grateful to you as well. So I'll thank you in advance for them.
100%. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks so much for taking the time to give the feedback, and I'll see you again in another few weeks or so.
Yeah. All right. Wonderful.
All right.
Look forward to it.
All right.
Thanks, Aaron.
Yeah, so
Bye-bye.
so every 30 days, I talk one-on-one with my clients, and that was their experience. If you want to learn more on how we help our clients earn 60% or more per year, then click the link in the description below.